weeknights at 7:30 on 25 NBC. Straight ahead on News 25 NBC. Live.
Are school threats being taken too seriously? I'm Corinna Allen. I'll have the story coming up.
Local.
Hundreds of books from the Kennewick Mid-Columbia Library are on the move. Details are straight ahead.
And up to the minute.
Clouds and some scattered showers in the lower Columbia Basin tonight, but not part of the long-range forecast. That's coming up.
Now, this is News 25 NBC, live at 6.
Since the fatal school shootings in Colorado, 4 students in our area have been arrested for making threats against their schools. Good evening, I'm Christine Brown.
And I'm Scott Stovall. In the most recent case, a 16-year-old Walla Walla boy faces up to 5 years in prison for shouting threats about the trenchcoat mafia from a moving car. Are these arrests justified, or are they a result of public pressure?
25 NBC's Corinna Allen put that question to the people involved in the Walla Walla case. Corinna, what did they have to say?
Well, Christine, school leaders I spoke with say everyone is more aware of possible school threats in the wake of the Colorado shootings, and they're not taking any chances. But the prosecutor I spoke with say public pressure is also a factor. Step onto any school campus, and you're bound to hear some noise. At Garrison Middle School in Walla Walla, things are no different.
Get to class!
But last week, when an older boy drove by and shouted some threats to students from his car, they locked down the school.
Stationed staff at all of our entrances, locked the doors.
Garrison School Principal, Jim Sporleader, defends the decision, despite the fact he believed it was all a joke.
My first reaction is it was probably a real dumb thing.
Joking or not, the children involved say they took the threats very seriously. And in a situation like this one, school authorities say they're not taking any chances.
It makes it a little difficult to...
District Administrator Mark Higgins agrees.
There's no second chances in an incident like this, and we have to move forward, and that's what we did, and we think we made the right choice.
But Joe Golden, the man now faced with prosecuting the case, says public input is already a factor.
There is somewhat of a little bit of public pressure that will probably be coming down.
Still, he says regardless of what influenced the decision to arrest the teen, he's glad for the opportunity to head off a potential problem.
We get to know this kid. Was this a really stupid thing to do, or does this child have some problems we need to address?
And so with the cooperation of schools and law enforcement, they hope to keep Garrison, and schools like it, a safe place to be. And the teen involved in that Walla Walla case was released into the custody of his parents earlier today. He's scheduled to enter a plea next Friday. Live in the newsroom, I'm Corinna Allen. Scott, Christine.
All right, Corinna, thank you.
A man from Kennewick died in a car accident about 13 miles east of Pasco today. It happened around 11 o'clock this morning on Colotus Road. Franklin County deputies found the 41-year-old man, Juan Hinojosa, unconscious after he drove off the road. He was later pronounced dead at Lourdes Medical Center. The accident is still under investigation, but deputies say weather may have been a factor.
It's National Teacher Appreciation Week, and to kick it off, the Pasco Chamber of Commerce singled out 2 teachers for their exemplary service. Honored today were Diana Hall from McGee Elementary School and Jan Greenwell from McLaughlin Middle School. They were chosen as part of the 13th annual essay contest, where students write about how a Pasco teacher influenced their lives. 5th grader Adrian Barton wrote about Diana Hall, and Pasco sophomore Tanner Savage wrote about Jan Greenwell.
I wrote about how I liked going to her class every day and about how she never opened a book. She did everything off her own memory and from her own experiences and stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool.
Both teachers received special plaques with the winning essays on them, and the students received savings bonds.
The Kennewick Mid-Columbia Library is closed right now, but library patrons know it's for a very good reason. The library on Dayton was closed so that books and other items could be moved to the new library on Union Street. And during the switchover, all Mid-Columbia Library branches will not be fining for overdue books.
But we are hoping that by not charging fines and getting the word out, that we won't have a lot of people worrying about getting their books back in time and basically clogging the system.
Plan ahead for the official ribbon cutting. It's on May 19th at 10 in the morning, and the public is invited to attend. Health experts say it could soon infect more people than AIDS. Still, few are being tested for it, and the federal government is paying very little attention. Eric Wilkinson has the story.
They're among those suffering from what they call a silent epidemic. A few dozen of the 4 million people in America diagnosed with hepatitis C. People like Ani Palmo, a Buddhist nun who's been living with the virus for more than 30 years. Now, she's taking a stand.
I have hepatitis C, and I want Americans to get tested before it progresses 30 years like it did with me. I just want to reach out and let people know that it's so important to get early testing.
Blowing a Buddhist conch shell is a wake-up call to America. The demonstrators marched to the state capitol, demanding more federal funding for hepatitis C research. The virus infects 30,000 Americans a year, killing a third of them by eventually destroying the liver. The virus can be transmitted to anybody through something as risky as IV drug use to something as simple as blood transfusions, body piercings, even manicures. And experts like the former King County Chief of Epidemiology say the number of those infected is expected to triple over the next 10 to 20 years.
But this is probably going to be the most important disease problem in the United States in terms of an infectious disease problem. I think it will outstrip AIDS in the end.
Eric Wilkinson for NBC News.
Well, it's time for some good news and the improving weather conditions. Here's meteorologist Richard Nunn with tonight's primetime weather.
Well, we'll have to wait just a little while before the improvement really settles in. Now, tomorrow's going to be better than today was, but tonight we still have to get through some breezy winds as well as some chilly morning temperatures. We'll talk more about that in the forecast, but here's a look at our numbers that rounded out the afternoon. 62 degrees between both Hanford and the Tri-Cities, 46 and 44 to start our mornings. Otherwise, pretty much all the starts in the 40s. Our highs, though, fluctuating somewhat for Walla Walla and Pendleton, only into the mid and upper 50s. As I said, we'll talk about the chilly morning start. May even see some frost right here in the lower Columbia Basin. More in the forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Rich. Well, would you like to make your children smarter? Maybe a simple answer, and it's coming up next from
25 NBC's Judy Slate.
And you'll find out how one local woman traveled down a rocky road to find a new career. In sports, 25 NBC's Kevin Uretsky takes us inside all the glitz, the glamour, and the action of professional wrestling. But first, here are tonight's record-breaking closing numbers from Wall Street. You're watching News 25 NBC, live at 6.